You have reached Imperial Reviews, and today's review is Wolfman 2025. Subscribe to the channel, like the video. Let's get into it. So, this movie um, was a little lackluster. That I didn't know what to think. I put the trailer out months ago. It was going to be a hit or miss to begin with. Also put the trailer out for the movie Werewolves. I did the review on that. So it's a hit or miss with a werewolf movie. We haven't had nothing. Uh, I can't think of what was that werewolf movie with the lichens and the vampires. Underworld. Yeah, those was good vampire and werewolf movies. So let's just go over the synopsis. A family at a remote farmhouse is attacked by an unseen animal, but as the night stretches on, the father begins to transform into something unrecognizable. Now let's go over the cast. Short cast. Julia Garner plays as Charlotte. We all, not saying we all, a lot of us recognize her from playing Ruth in Ozark Netflix series. Christopher Abbott plays as Blake. Sam Jaeger plays as Grady. Leigh Whannell plays as Dan. Matilda Firth plays as Ginger. And that's it. And let's go from there. So the movie starts off with Blake as a child with his dad out at their farm. They're in the forest. The dad is trying to teach him hunting instincts, and Blake is kind of a drifter. He not really like his dad wanting to be out here on the land and stuff like that. But the dad is trying to teach him like survival and like that bonding time. So they out hunting. They both got their guns, and you can see Blake drifting. The dad pretty much get at him, but wheels him back in and tells them why. So they see a deer. He aimed at the dad aimed at the deer to shoot it, but the deer moved off. Meanwhile, Blake was aiming at the deer as well, and so Blake drifted off, trying to chase the Jill to get a better shot. So when Blake was looking to get a better shot, he came across in the scope a man figure or whatever. So, but then it flashed away. Meanwhile, the dad found Blake, pretty much scolded him again, like, hey, you can't leave like that because you could get in trouble or you get in danger. Like, he was basically saying, like, the forest or the woods is a beautiful scenery, but it's a lot of danger here, and we all are just seconds away from death. The slightest thing can happen, and we're all dead. So they started hearing, like, a growling noise, and so the dad told Blake, get up in the deer house thing in the woods. So something that's up in the woods is built like a tree house where they scope out deer animals and shoot from above, high above. So they got in there, and Blake's dad told him to cover his ears, stay low to the ground, and he had his gun aimed at the opening because he heard something climbing. So at this point, if you really didn't know, we all know it's Wolfman, so we figure it's a Wolfman. He told Blake it was a bear, and then there was claws on the top of the house. Fed forward, the dad said, "Hey, let's hurry up, get down from here, get back to the house." Now, when they got back to the house, it shows Blake's dad in the basement. He's on a intercom thing, talking to somebody, saying basically, "Hey man, I seen it. I seen that thing. We need to get it. We need to get it together. Basically, you want to keep your kids safe. I want to keep my kids safe. We need to get this thing." So that materialized later in the film. So it goes from that scene and then fast forward to Blake when he's older. He got his own family now. Him, his daughter Ginger, and his wife Charlotte. Charlotte is a successful, I think she's a journalist or whatever she is. He's a writer, but he's in between jobs, and he's a stay-at-home dad. So his bonding is significant with his daughter. You see that right off the bat. He receives a letter in the mail basically saying that the county where he's raised, they're officially writing his dad as being dead. The dad went missing after some time, and so there was never a body found, so they're officially writing him as being dead. Sent him the keys to the house and basically said he need to come do whatever with the property. So he pretty much reached out to his wife, told his wife, look, hey, you could work remotely from home. Uh, I don't want to lose you, and we just in our marriage right now. This would be good for us. It'll be good for Ginger. So then the wife, Charlotte, she agreed. On their way there, um, they're riding in a U-Haul, and they finally get into the location, but he's not really truly familiar with the location, so he gets kind of lost, and he's in a wooded area, thinking that he's in the driveway of his dad. And when he stops, they tell him there's a figure in the house of the deer house or animal house in the woods that like he was in when he was younger. And the man just proceeded to come down. So he pretty much greeted the man and said who he was looking for, and the man recognized him right off the back without him saying. He said Blake. The man's name is Derek. He told him who he was. He was the son. So basically, he was the son of the man who Blake's dad called on the CV radio, telling him we need to get this thing, and you want to protect your child too. So I guess we anticipate the dad got killed at some time, but nevertheless, he was basically saying there's a lot of spooky things out in this woods, and he could show them where the road is that leads to his dad's place, because he said this is my road. So he was kind of like, you could tell he ain't family oriented like Blake is. He invited himself. The wife was telling Blake, nah, we don't need to do this. Pretend we okay. And he's just like, you're cool, you're cool. So then Charlotte got in the back seat with the daughter, Ginger. My man came in and he pretty much was like got this off tone to him. And he basically looking at, he has small conversation while they're on the road driving with the wife, and pretty much he's looking at them. I'm out here on his land, y'all in a different world. And Charlotte gave like a little small conversation, basically saying what she do, and they're tough people, and he's like, you don't look tough, y'all look like y'all safe people, and it basically says nothing wrong with that. Just out here, it's a different ball game. So, nevertheless, while they're driving on the road, Blake sees a animal type. This is the Wolfman, of course, but it's standing on its two legs. And he swerved out the way, and then he swerved and ended up going down the hill. And when he going down the hill, he crashed the U-Haul. So at this point, Derek falls out the U-Haul truck, and the U-Haul truck is linked over. So of course, they told Ginger she got to climb out so she could save him, and Charlotte got to climb out. But what happens is when Blake goes to close the door, he sees his Derek get clawed up pretty bad and get dragged off. So once Blake makes it out of the U-Haul, he still has the keys to the house, and then things start becoming familiar to him, like, okay, I'm familiar with this area. And so they still hear the beast, the being. But not before Blake got out of the U-Haul, he was scratched. And so when he was scratched, he ended up, him, Charlotte and Ginger, they ran to the house. They got in the house and barricaded everything, but the being was still following them at the house. So now here, where this is like a doom and gloom, it's a slow drag, slow burn. You start witnessing Blake getting sick. He start going through his full transformation. He start getting sick, sweating, and he slowly starts to transform. He's still trying to talk to his wife. He start to lose his speech. Meanwhile, the other wolf man is prowling the house the whole time. So while Blake is turning into a wolf man inside the house. So he start going through whatever, but it shows the love that he was still fighting for, while he still had some sanity, that this was his family. And Charlotte didn't waver. She still showed her love for him, even as he was changing, even as his scratch got worse. He started digging in the scratch and got all the way down to the bone. He bit into it. He ate the meat off his skin. He started becoming a savage. But he was still partially still thinking like Blake. So it was a moment where Charlotte seen that there was a pickup truck. And in the pickup truck, they had the keys. There was a battery. So they was making a run for it. When they went to make the run for it, put the battery in, Blake got in the car with Ginger while Charlotte put the battery in the car. And what happened was the Wolfman came, broke through the glass, and then they made a run for it, jumped on top of the greenhouse. And when they jumped on top of the greenhouse, they pulled the ladder up. But then the Wolfman went in, slicing, trying to get where they was on top of the greenhouse. Eventually, almost, what's his name? Eventually, Ginger almost fell through the greenhouse or whatever. So what basically took place is Blake pretty much was like, he gonna sacrifice himself, let the Wolfman go after him while they make a run back to the house. He didn't say this, so he couldn't speak no more. He was pretty much, and it starts showing his transformation, where how he viewed them through his lenses, versus what they were seeing. So he could no longer talk, but he was seeing them through his lenses and everything. So he just was pointing them to go to the house at that point or whatever. So they made it back to the house. Next showed up. Blake showed back up at the house, like kind of wounded, and she let him in. Meanwhile, at this point, I forgot a few segments ago, before he fully transformed, Charlotte asked Blake, what you, she told him write down what is he experiencing, what is he going through, because at this point he couldn't talk no more. He said dying or whatever, and she basically was trying to give him encouragement. We're going to get through this. You're just sick right now. In the morning, we'll get some help. So this is all going on in the same night. Wolfman broke through. Wolfman and Blake is fighting. Charlotte is trying to help her husband. She stabbed the Wolfman to help her husband, and at one point he bested Blake, and because Blake didn't fully transform at this point. So nevertheless, when Wolfman and Blake fighting, Blake bested him and ended up striking him and biting his neck and killing him. But when he looked at the arm, it was the tattoo of his dad. So his dad turned to a wolf man, and he basically killed his dad. So at this point, Blake was full savage mode. He was growling, and he was looking in Charlotte eye to eye. Charlotte didn't waver. She just stood there looking at him, and he walked off and left. But by this time, when he left, he fully turned Wolfman out in the field. And now he was coming back to finish the deal with Charlotte and Ginger. They ended up trying to escape. They ended up at the house that was built for hunting. Well, the like treehouse thing that was built for hunting or whatever. And it was just like a sentimental moment of them saying goodbye to Blake. And pretty much they she killed Charlotte killed Blake, and that was the end. So it was a slow burn. It was just a movie. It's not even a must see. It's not even a movie that you say, hey, it's a okay watch. It just was a slow burn. It wasn't really no. I haven't watched the other because this like could be a remake because there are other movies called Wolfman. So this could be like just basically a remake of something else. It was no creativity in the movie. I guess it was showing the bond between family love between the wife Charlotte and Ginger. I guess it was showing that, but it was I seen we all seen other werewolf movies where I forgot that movie. Was it the American Werewolf like in the 80s when John Landis directed that? Was I think that one that was probably one of the first ones. Most of if you 80s baby, that was one of the first ones you seen back in the day. But this was no real true creativity. I didn't like the storyline. Storyline could have been better. It was just a movie they put out there, and if you like it, you like it. You don't, you don't. Didn't have too much to it. It's not a must see. Once it goes on a streaming platform, I think it'll end up on Peacock. You bored, happen to watch it, then you'll see what I see. It wasn't too much to it. Out of the 4-star rating system, I give it a 1.5 out of 4 stars. It was very dark because it was just all in one night, so the filming of it is dark. So go figure. Subscribe to the channel, like the video. Till next time.